father was raised with boys.
I tell you, Paul
and
Revere, now this is no bum steer. It's from a handicapper that's real sincere.
I'm picking Valentine, cause on the morning line, the guy's got him figured out.
Hello, racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicapper's Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Heads, along with Drew Forster. We're going to go through the Saturday, September 13th races on the eve of course, a big afternoon on Sunday with BC Derby Day and 4 stakes races. Going to be a great day on Sunday, but we got 7 nice races today.
Yeah, obviously Sunday, our biggest day of the year. And Saturday, we kind of look into maybe the stars and more. We have a lot of 2-year-old races. They put together a good 7-race card. This one starts at 1:50.
Tomorrow,
We'll tell
yeah,
you Saturday, it does start at 12:50. Let's get right into the action. First race, $5,000 race for 3-year-olds and up, going 6.5 furlongs. I went to the 2-horse Ruffy Joe. He's been running higher most of his life. 2 back, he dropped down to the $4,000 level, got beat a neck. I thought that was an unlucky loss for him. He comes back and wins comfortably, posted 73 bar. I think that's more the Ruffy Joe you expect in this category, right. And I expect him to come back and repeat at the $5,000 level here. His obvious competition in here would be number 4, Arkhill. He loses Hamill to Arkhill, but Hamill rides a lot for Craig McPherson, and it might have been more the barn.
It's not a surprise there.
Yeah, it might have been more the barn that he goes to riding for Craig McPherson. They have a lot of success together. I got him in the 2nd spot. I think those two are a little bit ahead of everybody else. I looked around. I threw After Court in out of the Frank Berry barn. He just had a win at this level. He did beat Ruffy Joe, but I can't see him pulling that off again. I went 2, 4, and 1 in the first.
Yeah, I've been reading your mail. It's the same one, ones for me. 2, 4, and 1. I agree with what you mentioned about Ruffy Joe. I know Richard Hamill ends up on Arkhill, but that's more of a barn move. I mean, he is the first call rider for Craig McPherson, and
as you will see on Sunday.
Yes, I know, I'm crazy. There's all the top horses, but Richard and Craig have had a great season. There's no surprise when you're talking about a $4,000 or $5,000 race where you just go to your main barn, and if you lose, so what? Yeah. And I just think Ruffy Joe is the better horse. Amadeo's ridden the horse before. Unlucky loss, as you mentioned, 2 starts back. This horse should have won by a mile, but he was held up behind a slow pace. Not too sure. Probably Amadeo wanted to re-ride that race. He would have gone to the front. He held him back in behind a horribly slow pace, and but last time
but it was just too late.
Richard put him in play last time. This horse just needs to be in play, and he'll win at this level. I agree with you though. 2 Ruffy Joe over the 4 Arkhill, and the 1 After Court is definitely the 3rd best. 2, 4, 1 in the opener. On to the second race, as you heard Drew mention, one of many 2-year-old races today. This is for $16,000 2-year-old fillies going 6.5 furlongs, maidens. I ended up on the 4-horse, Cleared to Victory. I was pretty impressed with her first up run. Ran against some pretty nice ones. Jacuzzi Bob. That is a live race, and just a lot of nice horses. Exit Party Pooper, Kiss 'Em Goodbye. Have been running in stakes. There's a lot of nice horses coming out of that race, and this horse wasn't disgraced at all. I like the comeback works. This family is bred to run on. The mare Cleared to Go, I believe, was trained by Wendy Kruger at one time, and even Jim Losa, but still a mare that was a little big mare that was a lot better when they ran farther. So not surprising that this filly didn't run great at 3.5 furlongs, but 6.5 should suit her to a T. The 1-horse, Mr. Rosberg, I'm going to put this one in for second. Actually, this is for gelding, sorry. Mr. Rosberg in for second. I thought a pretty good run, flying from off the pace to be second to Grand Jury. And I put the 2-horse Maya's Bling in for third. The blinkers off. Frank Fuentes rides. The lone good race for Maya's Bling was without blinkers. If you look on form, they put them back on last time for some reason.
And did jump up to a maiden.
Yeah, I know, and that's the company talking too. Yeah. But I really like the 4 here. I like Cleared to Victory. I just thought that race, exiting a good race, and that was a good run for a horse that really didn't want to go 3.5 furlongs, and I like the works. I went 4, 1, and 2.
I have the same horses as you. I did put Mr. Rosberg on top. I thought that was a live, good first start. Tracy McCarthy has very good stats on their second start. She does a very good job. One of the top trainers here at Hastings, and I always seem to
this horse will probably break a lot better because it was a little lost in the first couple of strides, and that's why it came from that far back. And that's not to say it's not a speed horse, and it could be.
Yeah. So I got Mr. Rosberg on top. As you mentioned, Cleared to Victory. A lot of things to like there, let alone the race it comes out of. The connections as well, the Shaws, McPherson, Hamill.
They've been winning everything.
Yeah, it's a lot of arrows point to the 4 as well. And Maya's Bling, I agree with your 3rd horse. When it was running for a price, it was very competitive. Took a step up to Allowance Company. Didn't really like that. As you mentioned, had the blinkers on too. Blinkers off, drops back down. Definitely a horse to keep an eye on. 1, 4, and 2 in the second. On a third, 2-year-old girls going maiden 16, 6.5 furlongs. And I landed on the 1 here, Soaring Past. I thought she had a decent race her first out. It was a maiden special weight. That was a tough race too with
Sedin and Bluegrass Angus. That was a good. That was a fast heat.
Yeah, very fast race. Some nice horses. Didn't get beat a long ways, 7 lengths, but they were pretty, spread out. And I just thought, and then Robbie Anderson decides to give her a shot in the sale stake. That doesn't go well, but now she drops in for 16. This is the toughest, or the easiest girl she's ever ran against. So I'm going to give her a shot on Soaring Past. The second spot, I put Eau Claire de Lune. As I just mentioned, Copperwater Thoroughbreds, Craig McPherson, Richard Hamill, a horse who's had 3 starts, moves from Roseanne Choxey to Richard Hamill. And the third spot I went with Sugar Chic. 1 start for the Cindy Krasner barn, decent effort. Second start, drop in price, took a shot. 1, 6, and 5 for me.
Yeah, I agree with you, Drew. I like the 1 Soaring Past. I think this horse is live in here. This horse ran better than looked in her debut, and came back and ran in the sale stake. Couldn't get the lead for whatever reason around the second turn, bore out, and that's why the horse got beat a country mile. Yeah. I mean, this horse is better than that race indicates. And
just the fact you thought enough of her to run her in the sale stakes give me an indication that 16,000 she should be tough.
Yeah, she's got a great page finality out of the mare Slew Fast, and Keyshawn back aboard, and I'm sure if this horse gets the lead, it won't lose its focus, and it'll be, make the course. So I like Soaring Past on the class drop. I'm going to forgive her for her little miscue on the final turn. I put the 5 horse Sugar Chic in for second. Goes first time Lasix after a pretty good run first time out against a pretty good field of $25,000 maidens. That was the boys too. Gets in against the girls. And I put the 3 horse Bays Gal, another one that was running against the boys around 2. At least she was running against the boys around 2 turns. And running quite admirably. Didn't get the best of trips last time. Carried out. Had an outside draw. Was fighting on a slow pace, but still was wide out, and other horses got better trips, snuck through on the inside, and this horse was left out in the middle of the track, and that's why she ended up running 5th. So she's better than her form indicates. She might even be a good play in here to win. I would use all 3 of those horses. I like 1, 5, and 3 in the third. On to the 4th race. 2-year-olds once again. We're going to shorten up. 3.5 furlongs though here. Field of 9, but there are 2 waiting to get in, and I'm going to go to, because we're doing the show a couple days in advance, I'm going to go to the 10 horse Notice Zen. I think maybe she might get in, or hoping this horse might get in. Pretty impressed with the run against Cedarburg, Wild Rose of Texas, and next out winner Grand Jury. That's a live race. Gets blinkers. Good works for a really good, 2-year-old trainer, Phil Hall. Gets on his own horses, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this one be pretty live in here. So if the 10 horse Notice Zen gets in, I really like this horse. If he doesn't get in, then I like the 8 horse, the Tenant for Pat Jarvis. Excellent string of works for the daughter of Cause to Believe, and out of the mare Lucky Chelsea. There's a lot of speed in this pedigree as well, and a lot of win early pedigree, and the works have been very good. And also same for the 5 Cruise Director, a Son of Wandering. Out of the mare Izakaya for Pedro Alvarado and Ralph Jesiak. But those are 2 sparkling little workouts. I know not an extensive work tab, but they're both very good. 24 and change and the 36 out of the gate. So I'll put that horse in the mix as well. But once again, it's a little bit of a guessing game anytime you have, it's a lot of a guessing game.
Go down to the paddock.
Get down to the paddock and have a peek at these gals and guys, because it is a mixed field of fillies and colts and geldings. But perhaps a story could be told if you get down there. A favorable story could be told. Might be able to find a winner if you get near the paddock there. But I went 10, 8, 5, and if the 10 doesn't get in, I got the 9 Rosalie B for third.
It's kind of a tough one. There's not obviously a lot of form to look at here. I went with the 8, the Tenant. Good string of works for Pat Jarvis, the owners Anderson Eckett, rider Richard Hamill. Tell me if you've seen this story before. Yeah. They've had success with their 2-year-olds this year. These connections.
Lord Rosberg.
Yeah, Lord Rosberg, who absolutely demolished the field in the last sale stake. So I put the Tenant on top. I put Rosalie B in the second spot. A Rosberg out of a well-bred mare this time tomorrow. For Frank Barabee, a good solid string of works, and a good 2-year-old rider in Jeff Birmingham. And the third spot, obviously, Pedro Alvarado's horse, obviously Not as many works as you like to see. Only 2 works, but they are very quick. And Amadeo Perez does take the call. So
that's interesting. You know, and Pedro gets on his own horses, so it's like he's always a very good 2-year-old rider, Pedro, and I know he knows how to get horses ready. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this one pretty live, and good call on Amadeo being aboard.
Yeah, absolutely. So I went 8, 9, and 5 in the 4th. On to the 5th, Fillies and Mares, 4,000. Non-winners a 2, and we are going long. Mile and a tick. There's 2 horses I really like in this race. I put Lady at War on top. Just got beat by Rachel Run, a well-meant Rachel Run. Moves to leading rider Amadeo Perez. And the 3 Classic Cheese out of the Barb Heads barn. Another one that his last race was better than it looked. She had kind of a tough go. But those, I think, are the 2 horses in here. That's your exact. I think that they're a fair bit ahead of everybody. I put Lady at War on top. I got Classic Cheese in the 2nd spot. The rest, I had trouble come up with a 3rd horse. I went to our good friend George Morgan's horse, Lago di Como. I know she wants to run long. She hasn't been showing me as much as I thought she would at this level. When she dropped to the maiden 5 level and won, I thought she'd be able to roll through these conditions. She has had problems doing that, but Keyshawn Belgobin tried her last time. He sticks with her again, so I'll give Lago di Como another shot in 3rd. I went 4, 3, and 6.
I think we agree here. I think if you're playing to pick 4s, you probably just need 2 horses, the 3 and the 4. It's like whoever after that. But I mean, I went to Classic Cheese. I went the other way. I know she got kind of shuffled back last time and was up close early, was laying 4th, and was last or 7th, not last, but I mean way back, and then came running on again. Only got beat a length and a half for 2nd, so I thought it was a better race than it looks like on paper. I think she may be a little better than Lady at War, but I think you're splitting hairs here. They're both very, look very good in this spot. I put the ones Anita Rose in for 3rd.
I looked at that
just
one too,
because she's lightly raced. She might improve. She might take to the mile on the 16th trip.
She might have woke up last time, right?
It was it wasn't a fast heat. They went down there 120, but still, just a horse that has some upside. It's only had 5 lifetime starts, and there might be some improvement there, especially on the stretch out. But I went 3, 4, and 1 in the Saturday 5th. On to the 6th race. 2-year-old maiden, or 3-year-old, 3 and up maiden. 25,000 going 6.5 furlongs. And I ended up on the 4 horse here, Windhammer. Probably the one that'll take a lot of the money, claimed for 25,000 by Bob Chima and Anita Bolton. They've waited quite a bit of time to get the horse back to the races, which is a bit of a concern. But, little gaps in the works, too. It looks like the horse is ready to run in early August, and then another 3-week gap back to a work in August, on August 29th. So have a peek at this horse in the paddock. A little concerned, not the way you want to see a horse set up, but I do respect the connection, so I'm going to go with Windhammer. I put the 5 Green Dude. Not often I pick 19-time maidens, but
you're not picking him to win it.
No, and I probably could have. This horse actually ran a better than looked race for his first start of the year.
It's not an overly tough maiden.
Spirit River blended and Strangely Arousing finished ahead of him, but still, it was his first race, and all those other horses had multiple races under their belts. And Green Dude, I thought, chasing the pace early, I thought ran very well, and the race might serve as a great prep for a better performance today. So I put him in for 2nd, and I put the 8 horse Finally Diamonds, big, huge son of Finality out of the mare Diamond Berries. I'm going to give this one a shot in for 3rd. The works are good. Richard Hamill surfaces for Barb Heads, and I just like the last few works. And this is not a super tough maiden 25. No. A lot of these horses have been running in cheaper company, and a lot of them have had a lot of chances to break their maidens. So sometimes going with the horse that hasn't run isn't a bad thing. So I went 4, 5, and 8.
I agree with the 4 because of the connections. You mentioned this horse has been off for a while. There is gaps in the works, but Anita Bolton is 100% off the claim. 2 claims this year. They've both come back to win.
Neither one jumped up. I know that. At least this one is coming back at even at the same rate. But yes, I know 100%.
Even money, 100%. And that's a liver race that he come out of. That the Wonder World has gone on to be a pretty nice little 3-year-old. Come back to win the Sale Stakes. Spirit River's live. If he runs back to that race, I think he wins it. He was heavily bet that day. He did get in some trouble and kind of ran a disappointing 5th. But
his race 2 back's good enough to clown this.
Absolutely. And he's had time off. He's been freshened. The works look good. I think he's your horse to beat. I put Finally Diamonds in the 2nd spot because I don't think it's an overly tough race. If he's got a little bit of talent, which from his works it looks like he does, He's going to be right there.
He's huge. Wait till you see him in the
He's a
paddock. He's like
giant,
17-2. He's a big colt.
He's the biggest horse in the field.
He will be the biggest horse.
And
that
he's
doesn't make him a
got
winner.
he's got Hamill on him. I mean, and right, I'm going with Amadeo and Richard Hamill. Those are the guys winning the races. Then in the third spot, I put Strangely Rousing, Brian O'Connell's horse in here. 2 back, he got beat by Spirit River and Blended just by a couple lengths. Come back in the sale stake, had a little trouble in there. He didn't run any good, but I tossed that one. Go back to his maiden race. Now he drops down from maiden 25. He runs that maiden special weight back. He's going to be in the mix. I got 4, 8, and 2 in the 6th. On to the 7th. Now it's time for the boys. 4,000 non-2. Lifetime going, a mile and a tick. And there's 2 horses I really like in here.
You didn't pick your dad's?
I didn't pick my dad's horse.
I finally picked it, too.
Yeah, this will be the time he wins. I've picked him every time.
I know.
I went with Bluegrass Man.
Yeah.
Bluegrass Man dropped down to the maiden $5,000 level, and he beat Promise Glory. Then he went up to the 16 non-2 level. Sorry, that really wasn't for him. Then he tried a race against Tommy Danziger in Texas
That's too tough.
Buccaneer.
Well, that's way tougher company. I know
Way
it looks like
too
it says
tough for him.
5,000 there, but that's a starter 5. That is like 15 links tougher than what
extremely
he's
tough.
facing
Tommy Danziger,
today.
Texas Buccaneer, vying for glory. Those horses have all won many times. So I put Bluegrass Man on top. I did put Promise Glory out to the 11 hole. My heart picked Promise Glory on top. Good to see Amadeo stick with him. Just got beat a couple lengths last time. The thing that I like about Promise Glory is if there's pace, he's going to be tough.
Yeah.
And with an 11 horse field, there's going to be pace. So I got him in the 2nd spot. In the 3rd spot, I went to Steve Henson's horse, Confisio. Hamill sticks with, just got beat 3/4 length last time by Pride and Promise. He's right in there with Promise Glory too. I got 2, 11, and 7.
Yeah, I went to your dad's horse, Promise Glory, just because I do think there's going to be a hot bet. Last time there was no pace. They went they went 23 and 4, but they slowed it up to 48 and 2, 114 for the 6 furlongs. I mean, that's not fast.
And then he's
I know we're
closer
talking
than he
cheaper
likes to
horses.
be. He wants to
but
saddle and make one good run.
I see like Bluegrass Man showing some speed. Magic in Overtime has got speed. The 7 Confisio, the 9 Timber Topper just won wire to wire last week,
11
sprinting,
of them, yeah,
and it's like there has to be a 23:47 pace. And this horse will finally get, I think, the needed pace it needs to finally win a race again.
He is in the 11 hole.
Not that it's had a long losing streak.
He is in the 11 hole, and that's probably a good thing because Amadeo can keep him out of trouble, and he just wants to hang back and make a good run. So the 11 hole doesn't scare me.
Me either, because I think the field will stretch out. Because if they leave there, then like I think they will in 23 and 2 or 23 and 3 the opening quarter, it will stretch the field out. Then you can get in. It's when they go 25 or 24 and 4, the 11 hole, you're stuck out 4 deep because you can't find a place to tuck in because it is such a short run to the first turn. But I really like Promise Glory. I put the 3 horse Magic in Overtime. I was really impressed with his game win last time over Wee Harry. They were 11 lengths clear of the 3rd horse. I'll give him a shot for
He's
second.
actually already won 2, didn't he?
Yeah, he got 1 taken away, and with Alejandro too.
Yeah.
Alejandro Martinez, but does lose Perez to Promise Glory. And Confisio I put in for 3rd. I probably should have rated Bluegrass Man, your top pick, a little higher, but I've left it off the ticket. But I could see that horse running well also in here with a nice favorable post. But I went 11, 3, and 7. Well, that'll do it for our analysis of the Saturday, September the 13th program, and it should be a lot of fun. Next up on screen will be there's a recap. Back in race number 1, here's my selections. I went to the 2, Ruffy Joe, 241. I'm going to jumble the balls around in race number 2. I went 4-1-2. In race number 3, I went to the 1, Soaring Past, over the 5 and 3. In race number 4, I went to the 10, Notice 10. He's not even in the race yet, but I think he might get in. I'm just noticing some works on some of the horses. There could be some missing works, and so that horses that might not be eligible.
The one horse, Maven's horse, doesn't have a rider either, so he might be.
So I'm going to go 10-8, and that's a good thing about having the 10 hole. You draw and you get the nice outside post, which is cool. Going this distance is kind of favorable. I went 10-8 and 5. Race number 5, I went to the 3, Classic Cheese, over the 4, Lady Orb, and I do think it's 3 and 4 or 4 and 3. I went 3-4-1. Race number 6, I went to the 4, Windhammer, 4, 5, and 8. And in the 7th race, I went way to the outside, 11, 3, and 7.
And up next will be my picks. There we go. In the first race, I agree with Mike. I took number 2, Ruffy Joe, over the 4 and the 1. In the second, I went to the 1, Mr. Rosberg, over the 4 and the 2. In the third, I'm again with Mike on number 1, Soaring Past, over the 6 and the 5. In the fourth, I went to the 8, The Tenant, over 9 and 5. In the fifth, I went to the 4, Lady at War, with the 3 and the 6. In the sixth, I went to the 4, Windhammer, over the 8 and the 2. And in the nightcap, the 7th, I went to the 2, Bluegrass Man, over the 11 and the 7.
Well, we'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to Handicapper's Corner today. Hopefully we've given you a little bit of insight and maybe get you getting some winning tickets.
Yep.
Don't forget, if you can't make it out on Saturday, to the races at Hastings. If you're in the South Surrey area, it's always hopping here at the Derby Bar and Grill. Chef Andy's always got great food specials on. Drew will be here. TVs will be on Hastings and all the great simulcast tracks. Belmont, Los Alamitos right now, Golden Gate,
Longest
lots
stretch in
going
North
on.
America.
Yes, no, the longest. Yeah, that's strange. 3/8 of a mile now. But yes, lots of simulcasting going on here at the Derby Bar and Grill.
Good place to pregame before the Derby, the big
Yes.
day on Sunday.
Yes, and don't forget, and this Sunday, Derby Day, got the Derby, got the Oaks for the fillies, got the Randall Plate for the older boys, and the Delta Colleen for the girls. 4 stakes races, the 2
As well
starter
as the starter series, which are worth 50 apiece.
6 very important races as part of a 10-race program that gets underway at 12:50. It's an hour earlier on Sunday, so please do note that. Sunday, September the 14th, the card does start an hour earlier at 12:50 because we do have 10 races.
Yep.
That'll do it for this edition. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next time here at the Derby Bar and Grill.
He went by a half a to this here and that.